Welcome to the Lightworker Podcast. I am your host, Natalie Ubl Grant. I am a lightworker, a meditation facilitator, Reiki master, and a health and wellness enthusiast who thrives on helping people. Connection is my superpower, and I just love bringing people to a space where transformation can occur. Are you looking for information on being a lightworker? Are you a lightworker and just love collecting knowledge from other lightworkers? Then this space is made especially for you. I hope you enjoy today's episode.
I can hear you now. I can hear your beautiful voice. Hello. Hello. I miss where you're sitting. Oh, I miss sitting there.
So good to see you.
So good to see you too. I've been so excited. Oh my gosh. How are you?
Yeah, really good. How long has it been since we have conversed or been in each other's presence? It's been a while.
I feel like it was when you came around and Cedar was a baby.
Yeah, brand new.
Yeah, and he's 3.5 now. So
Oh,
I guess it's been at least 3 years.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a full-on human. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Having a baby's fun, but having a child is so fun. You know, like the being able to talk to them and them just saying hilarious things, like they make life so fun. I really like it.
And at 3.5, they're at an age where you feel like you've got the phone in front of them the whole time saying, say it again.
Uh-huh.
Can you say that again? Just one more time for mummy. And you're holding back like hysterical laughter because you don't want to cause any, harm to them or pain or suffering. But
Yeah.
the way they say stuff is so cute that your whole body is like, I have to
Yeah.
capture that.
And the wit. They're so witty. Like, oh my gosh, it's so and like he's started talking late, so he's still pretty new to talking. And so he'll, instead of saying, oh my goodness, he says, oh my googa. And I just love it so much. I'm like, please, brain, remember forever. Yeah, it's amazing. It's so
Just
fun.
pause this snapshot in time and make sure that I remember this moment.
Every single moment. Yeah. Yeah.
So how is life in Tassie?
I don't love it. It's great. I love where we live. It's really beautiful. We live in the mountains. I didn't realize until I moved to Tassie that I'm a lizard and I actually
Oh.
charge by the sun. And so
So what's winter like in Tasmania when you can't charge with the sun?
it's not winter that bothers me, it's summer. Like
Oh.
today is very hot, so I'm grateful. Thank you. But it's that there's no summer.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
you do not pack away your winter clothes here.
No.
Just the other night I was wearing like my wool jacket and I was cold. Like it's just, if it had a good chunk of summer and it was really hot, you know, and you're like, okay, I'm over it now. That doesn't happen. It's like a week. And sometimes it's not the whole week. But I shouldn't complain about weather. But
But it's a big thing, like, especially because you are originally Sunshine Coast, warm weather. Well, that's where we met. So, and
well,
then moved to
yeah,
Tassie, back to
I didn't
family.
realize because I struggled with the heat, I thought. But I
Mhm.
had pretty poor mental health in Tasmania,
Yeah.
which had a lot to do with so many other things that aren't the weather. But I thought when I move, I won't be affected by anything because I'm so different.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to move back to a place where the hole that you left is like a shape you're supposed to fit into again, and you
Oh,
just don't. And I struggle with that. Like when I'm away from people, I'm so fine truly being myself, but I find when I spend time with my family or bumping into people from high school is just impossible. I don't know how anyone can live somewhere that they bump into people from high school. I'm like, hi, I have literally nothing to say to you, because not because I'm not interested in you, but because I am not anywhere near the person that I was in high school. So like, it may as well be meeting a new person, but you feel like you have history, but you don't have history because it was high school. You're not yourself. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. And
Yeah.
moving from somewhere where everyone is so openly conscious and health food is so accessible and very open-minded place, it is interesting going to somewhere that doesn't feel like that and
Interesting.
still having the confidence to be like that. You know, where you're like, I don't want to dull myself down,
Yes.
but I also, it's such a fine line, isn't it, between people pleasing, but also understanding that everyone's different and you are going to need to communicate slightly differently. And it isn't really self-abandonment if you're trying to communicate with someone in a way that you both understand. Like, finding equal ground isn't always people pleasing, isn't always abandoning yourself. But the line feels so fine, the balance, that sometimes you wonder, am I abandoning myself, or am I just trying to make us both comfortable? Is that self-abandonment, or is that communicating with different people? And
Oh, they are good questions.
and I just,
And I love a good question because I don't really think any of us can absolutely sit in knowing
mm-hmm.
the truth
I
about that situation, because each situation would require you to observe it differently. And
mm-hmm.
you wouldn't be able to say each time, am I abandoning or am I actually honoring myself here, until you're there, figuring
Mm-hmm.
it out in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. I feel that I can finally stand into knowing I do not believe in facts. I do not think there's such thing as a fact. It's like, the more I know nothing. I think that this all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
nuance is just incredible. And I feel there's so much nuance that it's on a similar train of thought, but I don't really have an opinion on anything anymore, because I don't see the need to have an opinion on anything that doesn't affect me. I don't. And I understand that there are many people out there who would think that I don't care about the world, or I'm irresponsible, or whatever they want to throw at me.
Mm.
That's fine. But I have so much more energy, and so much more energy to give to the people who are directly around me, because I don't involve myself in things that do not involve me,
Yes.
and things I know nothing about. If I can help, I'll know about it, and then I'll help. But
Yes.
I'm not getting caught up in these online duality wars that nobody knows. Nobody knows, and I don't believe anyone's pure evil. I just don't believe in that at all. I think that there's always light there. And so, yeah, it's just, even thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so heavy. I don't.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. I'm so glad you've got it up. How good.
So, because we've just dived right in and I want to kind of roll with your thread,
Mm-hmm.
can you give everyone a little bit of context into, like, because you originally come from Tassie, then you left, and then you have gone back, hence the
Mm-hmm.
not being able to fit into the same hole that you left.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not the same person that you were when you left. You're this shiny new person that has completely new perspectives on things and a different way to look at the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a mum, which completely
Mm-hmm.
changes everything as well. You would have left when you weren't a mum, and then you come back as a mum. So
Mm-hmm.
also changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I always like asking on this show is like, what is your story of awakening? To be able to come to a perspective that you have now, that inherently you don't believe that anyone is evil, that there is always the light there. So how did this journey start for you?
Well, my story is very cliched. I did acid.
Give us all the cheese.
Yeah, I did LSD. So my beautiful, loving mother is a very fearful person. Very, very scared of a lot of things, and is a nurse, so has seen a lot of scary things to be scared about. And when I was growing up, because she loved us so, so deeply, she was very protective of us. And her way of protecting us was like leaving her medical books out and saying, if you don't do this, this will happen. Or, if I was going ice skating, she would say, not have fun. She'd be like, make sure that if you fall with your hands in, because people cut their fingers off all the time. So I'm now ice skating in terror.
Yes.
And this fear just ingrained itself into me. I was so, so scared. And I guess my massive fork in the road was I had two options to go to for a school. And I was lucky, I say in inverted commas, because, well, to get accepted to get a bursary scholarship to the best school in Tasmania.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this honorable experience to go to this school, and the pressure that put on my shoulders was crippling. I got bullied really badly by teachers and students. I didn't go to the primary school, so I didn't naturally know the curriculum, and none of the teachers could be bothered to teach me. And they would say that there's just no point in teaching you don't get it. But I loved learning, but my love of learning completely left me when I went to that school. So I got bullied, and I had this great honor, and it was going to set me up for life and look good on my resume and help me go to uni. And it was just, I suddenly felt like I was in this life that I didn't want to live at all. I wanted a life free from expectation. That's like, I didn't want to be a doctor. I wanted to be freed from expectation. I suddenly felt like I had these wings and they had been clipped. When I first went to the school, I was climbing trees, talking to trees, like so connected to nature and myself and my confidence. And I was fascinated by people. And I was definitely a freak, like such a weirdo. But luckily the school that I had gone to before that had people that matched my freak. So it was a really great experience. But when I went to this new school, it was the first time I really questioned if I could survive being myself, and maybe that there was something wrong with me. And I started to really believe that I was wrong. I have memories growing up of always feeling wrong, like sort of like there was like a predetermined version of me that it's probably a projection, but then my parents wanted me to be like, you're so smart, you're going to go so far, you're going to go on this linear path that both of them didn't do. And I think they have some regrets about the lack of safety they had from choosing a different path. So they wanted me to be safe and to be successful. And that was just heightened when I went to this school. And then, oh my gosh, just who do you want to be when you grow up? Like, I have literally no idea.
Such a crippling question to ask a teenager, because first of all, they've only really experienced the school system. So and whoever else has come across their path. And then what do you want to be at when you grow up? Well, happy?
Free.
Free.
I am 35 and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And what I've realized is it's whatever you want to be in that moment. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that. I so badly wanted to make my parents proud too.
Yeah,
I
okay.
so badly wanted to make them proud. So I was a very, I guess you could say, a quiet rebel. I didn't realize I was a rebel. I thought I was a goody two shoes, but quietly I was a rebel. I had my internal value system, and I guess this deepest version of me that wouldn't waver. Not when it came so close to crumbling, it just wouldn't. It I don't know. I'm so grateful for it, but I just was a quiet rebel. But I wanted to make my parents proud, so another very important thing, I was born in Austria and I lived there till I was 8. And we moved to Australia. And I could speak English because my parents are Australian, but I had to learn the slang. I didn't know how to spell in English, only in German, or read in English. And so I got bullied really badly when I first came to Australia as well. Essentially, my schooling history is just got bullied. And so I thought, there's something wrong with me. I am wrong. You know, I'm not this perfect person my parents want me to be, but I also can't fit in with people my age. Like,
Yeah.
where do I fit? And I was the elder sister, so I felt extremely responsible for my sisters and always felt like I had to be keeping an eye on them. And if something went wrong with them, I sort of got in trouble too because I should have been watching them. And that was like a really heavy weight on my shoulders as well. And my best friend was a tree, a walnut tree. And my parents got divorced when we first moved to Australia, so that then the family system was broken. So it just felt like I don't even know. It feels like when I look back, it's like in slow motion of just everything falling apart,
It's
collapsing, and being so terrified, and then seeing the path that I had to walk on to make my parents proud. And knowing that I was going to have to trade myself for that path.
So you had a moment where you knew that walking that path was actually going to be trading what your soul knew was for you.
I think deep down, but what it consciously showed up in my world is, yeah, but I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Like, this list that you've given me, not a single thing interests me. Like, I don't know what I want to be. All I want to do is go back to Austria and find the piece of myself that has been missing since I left.
Yeah.
So I went to uni. I did a bridging course in chemistry because I was going to go to uni to be a marine biologist so I could be a dolphin trainer. The only thing that interests me was like, I could train dolphins. That would be fun.
Okay.
Sitting in marine biology class and just thinking, I can't do this. And the other time that it happened is I was supposed to go to the college, like year 11 and 12 of this posh school. And I couldn't do it. And I said to Mum, I cannot do this. And she was like, if you change schools, you have to pay for the school fees yourself. And I was essentially, she was like, you have to go to this school. And I was like, I organized a meeting myself with the principals and the head of the school. And I said, I'm leaving. I know that I'm allowed to leave in year 10 and I'm leaving. And they asked me why I was leaving. And I told them the truth. I was like, you don't teach people unless you think that they're just natural geniuses. You don't take the time to actually teach anyone. You don't put any presence into people. Like, you're not willing to teach backwards. You're just willing to teach from where you're at. It's not the school for me. I came here loving learning and now I'm too scared to learn. Like, I'm just not interested in continuing here. You don't care about bullying. You just care about status. And I remember just shaking, the whole meeting, just shaking. But one of the head people took me aside afterwards and said, that was really brave. And I feel like I can see what you're saying. Like, we need to make a lot of changes at this school. Went home, I left school.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah. That's like a whole story that I won't go into, but yes, it was huge. So then sitting in.
So how old were you? Just for
15.
15, and you knew that you couldn't continue, and that feeling inside your body was so strong that even the fear of standing in front of these adults was worthwhile, knowing that you couldn't live with that feeling in your body if you kept on going.
Yeah, and thinking I was like, Mum's going to kick me out, and I still, like, that's what I mean. There's just been this something in me that has, you know, I say I'm a people pleaser, and I've had to get over people pleasing, and I've always been a goody two shoes. And like, when I look back at like that's not true. There is a line inside me, and I have never crossed it. Like, I've done things that I'm not proud of. It's not like that. It's not I've always been good. I figured out my own values by making so many mistakes and realizing how they felt and realizing I have a value now.
Yes.
But the line inside me was, I won't let anyone tell me what my values are. Like, I won't let someone tell me who I am. I just can't. There's just been a part of me that is like, I just can't. And
so you were 15 when you left school. What did you do next?
Went to another school, year 11 and 12, and loved it. It was so great. It was so great. The teachers there were so patient. There's like many different types of people there. Being quirky and weird there was like much more accepted. And I feel that I started putting back pieces of myself, I guess, in a way. I have always been the misfit. And there was no misfits in my grade. None. So I had no friends. But luckily in high school, when the year below me came, there was a few misfits in the year below me, and I bonded with them. And that's when the bullying got really bad, because you can't be friends with people the year below you.
Right.
I'm like, you're friends with people the year above you. And they said, yeah, but they're above us. And I'm like, yeah, but you're below them. Like, they're the me in this situation. Like, wow. Anyway.
And even though you could see that, they couldn't see that.
Couldn't.
No.
Couldn't.
And you tried, and then realized you can't change someone else's perspective.
No, there's just some people where it's just they're playing such a different video game that you're never going to be able to tell them, and there's just no point. Like, and in your opinion's just as valid as my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's absolutely no reason I should try and change your opinion. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Agree.
Yeah, like, whatever. Yeah. Luckily, I was friends with these misfits, and they were great. So at recess and lunch, I had friends. It was just during the lessons that I would walk into the classroom late, so that there was only one table left, and the person couldn't say, you can't sit here, because it was the last, like timing my entrance into. But I used to love learning, and then I got told I was stupid by teachers so much that I completely stopped trying, because if I didn't try and then I didn't do well, it didn't hurt. Whereas if I tried and then did badly, it was so painful that I just couldn't do that. And it's only now that I am learning to love learning again.
Yeah.
But my fascination has always been people and consciousness, the universe, philosophy. I'm so fascinated by that. That's not on any of those lists. It's not any of it's not like, I guess the art of being human just fascinates me so much. I'm fascinated by people's opinions. I'm fascinated about their stories. I'm just so fascinated by people. When I talk to someone, the rest of the world falls away. I'm so interested in people. That doesn't check out at school.
No. So when you came to the end of your schooling, and you obviously had quite a bit of self-awareness as you moved through school, based on what you've said. So where did that lead you when you left? What did you choose to do next?
Well, I was so depressed. So depressed. I don't know when the depression started. All I know is that when before I had gone to uni, I just started crying one day, and I did not stop crying. And then my boyfriend at the time said, I think we should go to a doctor. Went to a doctor, did the depression testing, which is a joke, but anyway. And she was like, oh, you have depression. And
So this is someone that you've met for 5 minutes and
yeah,
then they tell you that you have depression. So what does a depression test entail, if you don't mind me
it's
asking?
called a K10 test, and it's like, when did you last, out of 0 to 10, when did you last feel this? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Like, it's just a very general test. So I was self-harming in high school, but I honestly think I was self-harming to fit in more than I was that sad. I don't know. I was friends with girls who did that, and then I felt like I had to do that too. And I'm an experimental person. Like, I'm always going to try something before I will believe anyone that it is truth. I just cannot trust your word. I know you've probably been through it, but I would rather just find out myself. And life to me is just an experiment. I want to get to my deathbed knowing that I tried to explore every single skerrick of myself, not just trusted someone else's word. But I was cutting my wrist. Mom found out. It went really badly. And then, so this woman, I do this K10 and she's like, you're depressed. And I'm like, I have no reason to be depressed. Just completely not understanding really what depression is. And she was like, well, you've scored really extreme on the anxiety and the depression. And I wanted to die. I would never, ever have acted on that. I just knew people cared about me. It wasn't that I didn't think people cared about me. It wasn't that, but I was just like, I would wake up and be like, I can't believe that I have another however many years of this. Of like faking it, of faking all of it, and then just fitting into this goddamn like box that I'm supposed to fit into. Like, I just was exhausted from the thought of it. And everyone always said to me, you're the happiest person I know. You're the happiest person I know. And I thought happiness was something that it was like a performance. Like, I know I was really good at it. And it wasn't until that appointment where she said, no, you can experience joy. People experience joy. And it makes me emotional to even think about it. I was so shocked. I was like, what? Like, people can actually feel happy. Like, when they're laughing, they're not pretending. And she was like, no, like, people feel happy. And I was so thrown off. I was so shocked. Like, I was literally couldn't believe her. And then I thought, well, like, if that's true, I would like to know what that feels like. That sounds interesting. But I walked out of that appointment with 7 scripts. 7. Took these pharmaceuticals, they gave me so many side effects that then I had ended up with even more pharmaceuticals to go on, and trying to find the right antidepressant was so awful. It was like my actual soul had been sucked out. And my boyfriend,
so their only solution was to give you drugs.
Yeah, nothing else was asked.
So there's no, hey, here's some education around how you can create happiness in your life. Here's some education around ways to manage the anxiety and stress in your life. Nothing.
No. I
just here's some
don't
drugs.
even know if in that appointment they suggested a psychologist, I don't think. But I had an incredible boyfriend at the time. He was so good to me, and he like would wake up early and make me breakfast before I had this medication. So I must have been older. But anyway, it was like I had no personality. I said to him one day, I was like, it's like someone could tell me the most amazing thing ever and I wouldn't care. And someone could say, I just killed someone, and I wouldn't care. I was like, I feel literally nothing.
Wow.
And then I had a different one, and then he was the one to say, like, I'm really worried because you have no personality at all. Like, I'm really, really worried. But at some point, I was referred to a psychologist, and he was just the most incredible person I was ever. Harry Stanton. He has like changed my life. I think about him so often. But he was a hypnotherapist, and I just loved him because I wasn't going to go and talk to someone about my stuff. I just had no interest in doing that. I was like to him, I don't even know. I don't know what's like wrong. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, like, I don't see the point of like dragging up all this stuff. And he was like, you never have to do that. I am literally going to teach you tools to release it without ever having to bring it up. And he was so great because way further down the track, I've seen many other psychologists who I'm sure they do great things for people, and it's nothing against them, but they weren't a match for me. And they took me so much deeper into my depression and my anxiety than I was before I saw them, because I'm sitting there telling them all these things, and they're like, I remember one saying, it seems like you have dad issues. And I was like, what? And then that just,
that's programming you. That's telling you something that you may or may not be true, because prior to that, it wasn't something that you'd even thought about. So then they give you the prompt, and then all of a sudden that becomes your reality. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I analyze everything, and I will think it. I think so much. Oh my God. I think so much. And it's so good when you can manage it and you can put it to a good job. I'm like so grateful for that part of myself. But until I learned to manage that part of myself, it was wild how deep I would go into my own stories that I created about myself.
Yeah.
So Harry was so great. But what really helped me was I was going to be a marine biologist. Mum's so proud. Everyone's so proud. I'm sitting in this class and I just walk out and I go straight to the dean person and I'm like, unenroll me.
Wow.
And I just got home and I was like, I can't do it. And so grateful to Mum. She took it like a champ, and she was like, okay, let's send you overseas. And so I was 18, I think, and on a plane to Sweden by myself. Terrified. Terrified. Oh my gosh. And the nannying experience was she was very emotionally abusive and extremely aggressive. I think she had a lot of mental health issues. So that was
So that you went overseas and was a nanny, were you? Is that what you were doing?
I was a nanny for a family, 2 beautiful girls. The family had the parents had a lot of relationship issues and a lot of things going on with them, and the mum would just snap at me sometimes. The last straw was we were sitting on the couch. The thing is, this is where the people pleasing thing comes in. She reacted to everything, literally everything, would take it personally or would twist my words into something that they weren't. And so I found like neutral ground to talk on, like, oh, I like her top, or like I just found neutral ground to speak on that seemed to be okay. But one of her friends came around and she was orange. I not like fake tan orange, like literally orange. And I asked, I don't know. I was just so curious. I'd never seen it. And I just asked, like, why was she orange? And she flipped. She was like, you are the most vain person I've ever met. All you care about is what people look like. You're like the most shallow person I've ever met. When I look at you, you're exactly what I don't want my children to turn out like. You're a disgrace to society. This lecture went on for so long and she just ripped into me. And I found a journal from that period of time, and it literally says, how do I stop hating myself so much? And then it was like, change my hair, change the way I look, change the way I talk. It was like, change everything about myself. That was my solution to stop hating myself so much. So then, of course, the quantum field is giving me these lessons, is literally showing me my own thoughts happening to me, but I don't know about any of this at this time. So I don't know how. I'm such a crier. I just sat there and I said, okay, I'm sorry you feel like that. I'm going to leave tomorrow. And then I just walked upstairs and unpacked my stuff. And they hadn't paid me. They were like not paying me until the end. And it was all very confusing. But I went to Austria. So it was perfect. And I had nothing planned and I didn't book anything. And I think this is where the crack happened. Like the LSD later really opened me, but this is when a huge crack happened, because up until this point, what has been taught to me is safe, is plan your life, stay in control, like know absolutely everything about everything, and then you're safe. You're safe. But for me and my soul, that was exactly what was causing my lack of safety. That was exactly what was making me shut down and feel no joy and feel so confused about this life. So I didn't know any of this at the time. But turning up in Austria, I literally had my backpack. I walked myself, got off the train, smelt the air, collapsed on all fours and just sobbed, because it felt like there was like this puzzle piece inside me that had just been returned to its place. And the feeling, like, oh, I can still feel it.
Yeah, so feel it for a minute, right? Be there.
Oh, it just was indescribable.
Let yourself feel this.
And the funniest thing is the smell is cow poo, because they like fertilize everything, but it was just home. It was home, and I had been looking for it, that feeling. I didn't know what homesickness was, and I don't know, we didn't really talk about Austria. It was just like, it just disappeared. Like my whole life disappeared from that moment.
8 years. You were there and you weren't. It's a big chunk.
When I talk to an 8-year-old now, I just think, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I was your age, a fully
fledged
human. And because I got bullied, I stopped speaking German, because one of the things I got bullied about was German. And every night I'd say to myself, oh, also I feel like I'm jumping all over the place, but that's how the story works.
Fantastic.
Every night when I would go to sleep, I'd say, I'm never speaking German again. But when I was getting really bullied badly in school, every night I would go to sleep and I would say, a past version of myself would say, I'm going to call her Sophie, would say, I hope I'm sick tomorrow. I hope I'm sick tomorrow. And I just remember repeating it over and over and over. And I got so sick that Mum was going to have to fly me interstate to see a specialist, because nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. And it was my granddad, my darling granddad, that said, I think she's getting bullied. But that stuck with me. Talking to a tree stuck with me. Like, I remember this tree, I was fully convinced this tree would grow a branch to catch me if I fell. Like, I had such a strong connection to this tree. And then I suddenly was like, my brain is really powerful. Like, what I say to myself is really, really powerful. And those are two things that stuck with me and didn't leave, despite all the life circumstances. Yeah.
So you get back to the soil and the smell of the cow poo.
And I walked where I knew my dad still owned a pub. Like, I just walked there from the train station, knew where to go. It was insane. Like, and sat at the door waiting for it to open. And I was like, hi, said who I was, said who my dad was. I'm looking for a job. And they had a cleaner literally leaving in a week. And so I took over that job. And that was when another crack happened, because I was like, I didn't plan or organize anything. I just followed my intuition and it worked out perfectly. But I had zero confidence at this time, and I was so scared of being seen. And I was just, because I felt so wrong, and because any kind of visibility or being myself had been squashed, I was so terrified. And there was this group of girls, and I remember so clearly they had been a clique since winter. So winter season's the big season in Austria, and then I turned up sort of in summer. So they'd been in this clique for months. So that's always hard anyway, to be a new person coming into a clique. But I remember sitting at lunch with them, and they're all talking, and my brain's empty. I can't think of a single thing to say about myself, because I deemed these cool girls in my head, and like, cool girls are scary and mean. So I couldn't think of anything. And I just imagined them with this girl that like can't talk. Even when they ask me a direct question, I have at least like one answer. Luckily, there was other people there that I naturally clicked with and obviously felt safe with, because I could talk to them, and it was fine. But these girls, I never could the whole time. But this is when drinking started for me. I drank every night, and then it was so fun, because when I was drunk, I was so confident suddenly. I could say what I felt. I was like this outgoing person. I didn't people please. Like, all of these qualities that I guess I knew I had inside me only came out when I was drunk. And so and the feeling of bliss and joy that I didn't get from anything else, I found when I was drunk. So I drank probably every day from that moment on till I was, which we'll get to later, until I was like 27.
Yeah.
And I traveled around, but still planned everything at this point. So I'm still booking hostels. I'm still planning all my train things, and like very, very rigid traveling, and then only really having fun when I'm wasted. And then I come home for a stint, move interstate for a bit, and that's when I first had LSD. And I remember so clearly, I just had a moment by myself, and it was like being a child again. It was just, I'm like, oh my gosh, there you are. There you are. I have been looking for you. And it was like, me was like, you've always been exactly where you're supposed to be. Like, you are always safe, and you are always where you are supposed to be. And all you need to be is to be here in this moment. And it was so profound, this feeling of like, all my depression went away. Well, that's not entirely true. I think all my depression went away. I still had anxious thoughts, and I still overthought a lot, but this dark cloud that had lived over me, it was gone. It was just completely gone. And I burst out laughing, and it was like that feeling of joy that people said you could feel for real. I felt it for real. And I was like, oh my gosh.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I was
Roughly.
22.
22.
And I felt joy for the first time. I don't even remember feeling joy as a child. Like, I really don't. I remember feeling interested. I remember feeling fascinated by things. I remember, but not joy. Just, and I was just different from that moment. And I was not different. I was me again.
Yeah.
And I think I see so much out there on social media about change your identity, step into this identity, step into this confident identity. But the root word of identity comes from Latin idem, which means the same. So it's the part of you that doesn't change. It's the part of you that stays the same. It's your essence, it's your soul. You don't become a new identity. You remember who you are, and all of your confidence and all of your everything comes from remembering who you are. And I guess that's been my entire life journey. And the thing that I so want to help other people find is is that you don't become something else. You don't have to change. You don't anything. It's just like there is a part of you that loves you so much and is just waiting for you to remember that it's there. And it's so familiar and it loves you so much. And it's actually an undoing of everything that you're not. It's not a becoming of anything. It's an unbecoming. And it's so easy. That's what I've realized through my really complicated journey is it's like that's actually so easy.
The simplicity of it is almost too easy because each of us have to go on that journey to discover all of those parts and bits of ourselves, to have our own lived, known, felt experience, to hopefully come back around to that knowing.
But with the confidence that you don't have, like children are very confident in who they are, but it's because they're in their subconscious. So of course, you know, they do, but they also stray away from it so easily. So they don't have the confidence that you have as an adult when you get to be like I feel younger now than I have felt since I was a literal child, but I get to be an adult child. It's so fun. Like it's so fun. Like what we forget to remember is that you have everything in common with yourself. You love everything that you love. You love the music that you love. You love the people that you love. You wouldn't have those people that you love unless you were exactly you. You like doing the things that you like doing. Like you are your own best friend. And when you like hanging out with yourself, it's the funnest thing literally ever. Because you have everything in common with yourself. Like that person that you've been looking for forever that just gets you. It's you. It's you. It's always been you. But we get so lost looking for it in other people. And they're never going to fill it. Never.
Yeah,
but
because the journey is not about that, but you have to go on this convoluted path to figure that out.
And it's so fun. And it's like, and that's where you find it's honestly like you are the main character of the book or the video game or whatever. And this journey that you go on is giving you, it's showing you all your magic. It's showing you all your natural gifts. It's showing you how powerful you are. It's giving you all your weapons. It's creating you. You know, you couldn't. How boring. I've been myself since I was a child, and I just realized nothing interesting happened to me. Like, you know, but it's like what stresses me out is the thought of getting to the end of your video game and you thinking, oh my God, I never made it back. I didn't realize, you know? And maybe that's just their journey in this life. But I think so many more people, like, I think awakening is just like returning to who you are. It's not this like great, big, extravagant thing. It's just like being okay with the human that you chose and sort of understanding somewhere inside you that you chose that human, like, and that human loves you. Like when I think back to the things I used to think about my body and how much I used to hate it and how much I used to thrash it, that I didn't eat and I just drank alcohol, this body showed up for me every single day. Exactly. Every single day. It is the most loyal person I have ever met is myself, because I'm still here and I have put it through hell and I'm still here. Like it is so loyal and I am so grateful. And like the only person who's been through everything is me in this body.
Yeah.
Like
you're the authority on you, nobody else.
No.
But that's true right from when you first get born into this body.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've been born into a society that has been taught to raise children certain ways that have then created these kinds of situations for humans to have to go on these convoluted journeys to come back to figuring out who they were, even though they already knew that when they came out. Which So before I skip ahead to that, what happened when you were 27?
Oh, so, well, from this trip, this moment, I then went back overseas and I spent most of my 20s overseas on drugs or drunk. And I have literally no regrets. I think your 20s I'm like, that's exactly what you should do. Don't worry about making $1 million. Don't worry about setting yourself up for your future. Don't worry about anything. Like, your 20s is for you to experiment with being yourself. And you'll never be that free again. You might have had children, but they're fully grown up, but you're never not a mum. Or you might have a career or whatever it is, but when you're 20, you're free and just go ham. Like, that is your time to just play with who you are. Like, does this fit? No. Okay. What does this fit? How does this feel? Like, go. And that's what I did. And I have no regrets. I would love to go back to all the incredible places that I went to and actually do something there other than drink. But from that moment, a piece of me had been restored, and I then booked the flight and nothing else. Not a single thing. And the experiences that I started having, it just essentially, what that trip did was remind me, like, magic is real. Like, it's real. You've always known it was real. You always knew it, but I'm just going to remind you. I would be on planes. This is like an actual story. I was on a plane. I needed to pee. It was food cart time. I was busting. And I was just standing there, like, doing this dance. And then I just turned and said to the people, I was like, oh my gosh, such a rookie coming at food cart time. And these two guys were eating and they're like, here, you can climb over us. So I was like, okay, I will do that. That busting. And then I sat down and talked to them. And then we ended up staying in a hostel together for like a month. And then I ended up getting a job and somewhere to live in Vancouver, where I was going, from the guys I had just met on the plane. And I'd only decided I was going to Vancouver because they wouldn't let me on a plane unless I'd booked it, and it was the top. It was just the top name. So it was endless stories like this where I just was taken on magical adventures. And I got addicted to traveling then because I got addicted to not knowing how your day is going to turn out. And what I've just realized recently is that's how it always is. But when we're at home, we don't allow, we limit ourselves. We like put a cap on that magic because we're like, no, this is how your day is going to go. And so we just do the predictable thing. But when you're traveling, I would wake up and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to be in this bed. I have no idea what's going to happen to me today. Like, how fun. And I'd just go to breakfast. And it's like being a yes person. And when you're at home, you don't be a yes person. And that's
you do
the
routine, you get into the hamster wheel, and you do the same thing you did yesterday, which is this program that we're all trying to liberate ourselves from.
And again,
that's why we've come here.
Yeah. And it was so fun. But then I was on alcohol, then got pretty addicted to cocaine and weed. And then I met my ex-husband, which was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. The most toxic thing that's ever happened to me in my life, ever. That was the closest I've got to actually taking my own life. But he said all the things I thought about myself in my head. And I had been getting a pretty clear message from the universe on repeat, and I hadn't listened. And so this was my megaphone. This was like this screaming at me. And it's just so interesting when you have thoughts about yourself that aren't positive, because it is going to get reflected back to you, and you don't realize it's you. You don't realize that you accept the love you think you deserve. And it isn't just on a setting boundaries with people level. It's literally like on a quantum level.
Yeah. But it's interesting that you've got to get to a certain level of understanding of humans and people and communication before you can see this. because you could, and some people might not be understanding what Freya's saying at the moment, but if you don't worry. Give yourself a
It's,
bit longer.
I
It'll
mean,
come
people,
around.
it triggers people's, I have had people lose it at me. It's happened
Yeah.
like so much recently where I'm trying to gently explain that, someone saying like rolling their eyes and being like, I hate men, and just thinking that's not going to serve you. Like this, just, anyway.
Well, that's just a judgment statement. It hasn't gone to the root cause of why you even feel compelled to say that.
And
And
it's
people
right.
don't know to look deeper than that, which is
Hmm.
why, I mean, my path of educating people was I chose to teach people Reiki because it's disclosing certain information at a certain point in their awakening process so that they've got a tool to use to help navigate the reality from that perspective. And then once they've done that for a while, they'll come back and learn the second level. And then they go away and they practice that. Once they've done that for a little while, then they'll come back and they'll learn the third level. And they'll go away and do that for a little while, and then they come and learn the teacher stuff, you know?
Hmm.
And there's method in that madness of why we teach people certain things at those different levels. Because if I was to talk to you at a level 1 level and tell you all the teacher stuff, your brain would be blown apart. You'd probably tell me that I'm a crazy person and that none of it's real.
It's so true. And I find this in my, like, I work as a coach. I don't really like that word, but I don't know what else to say. And I'm doing the same thing,
Yeah,
essentially.
you
It's
would
like
be
I'm
taking
teaching.
them through a process because there's no point overloading somebody because you can actually do more damage
Hmm.
than good.
And what I have, I don't have the ability to do, like, what's been awesome, I assume, with your journey is that you started teaching Reiki when you remembered how to talk to someone at Reiki 1. I have completely forgotten how to. I think if I was teaching specific Reiki, it would be easier. But when I'm coaching, if someone's too many steps behind me, I don't know how to do that anymore. I, I've lost the art of like remembering how I thought when I was there. So
Yeah.
something I've had to realize recently is when I'm working with people is like understanding what level they're at and whether I'm the right person for them, because I really might not be, because
Absolutely. And that's where if you've got to know, the universe will give you a course correction.
mm-hmm. And that
And it'll
happens.
throw you into the pits of that frequency that you used to reside in daily so that you can actually remember what it's like to be just like that. So then you remember to get off your little guru high horse and go, oh, yes, okay. I'm going to have to look at this from a completely different perspective here because I'm actually not, they can't hear me. It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to someone in a completely different dimensional reality.
It also feels like an attack, and it
Yeah,
makes you feel like you're judging them, whereas like the only judgment coming from me though is like trying to judge how to best speak to them. So there's judgment there, but then the judgment is being like very misread, and you seem like you're on your high horse because you're calm, because you're so calm and you're listening and you're not responding and you're just saying, okay, I understand. That is like,
it's
you
because
may as well have punched them, and they think it's like you're on a high horse, like you're trying to be on a high horse, like you're judging them, but you're just,
yeah.
this is where you sit. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
And which is why I get people to pay attention to their thoughts in the training right from the start
mm-hmm,
and to ask often if the thought that comes in is even theirs.
mm-hmm,
Because if you don't learn to discern the thoughts right at the early start, at the get-go
mm-hmm,
of this, then you get to meet people like that and you just agree with the thought in your head and you're actually not even engaging in the now moment with the person that you're talking to. You're just having an argument with the voices in your head.
mm-hmm.
And once you kind of work to that point as a human where you understand that you've discerned the thoughts, you've gotten to the point where you've moved beyond that frequency that you even need to be playing in that sandpit anymore, you forget that that's how other people still relate to the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
and I guess that's like the awesome thing about doing it through Reiki is like that person has come because they are making the decision to stop playing in the sandpit anymore, essentially. Whether
sometimes they know that that's why they're there, but they figure it out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
so tell me, so you had obviously a tumultuous relationship with someone who was a very big turning point for you.
it was the things that he said to me. It isn't anything that I didn't think about myself when I think about it back, but it was honestly like his eyes would go black and he would just say things to me that it's just, I can't even, like, you are unlovable. You're so lucky to have me. You're disgusting. When you're not there, people say all these things. But, all of the things, your mean inner critic things, he said them to me, but worse. And I'm like, then it must be true.
Exactly.
And so I shrunk.
Plug my Pookie in so we don't run out of battery.
I shrank and disappeared. And I never told anyone because the art of shame, that's what is happening. He's using my own shame about myself against me. And so I don't tell anyone because I couldn't handle the shame of them saying it's true. But luckily, my sister was getting married and he forbid me to go to the wedding. But one night in a night of bravery after he'd been awful, I just booked it anyway.
So he forbade you from going to your sister's wedding.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's so hard to even think about how that is just. Yeah, and he was like, well, I'm not coming. I hate your family. Like, I hope you realize I'm never going to see them again. Like, they are like, whatever. But
right. So being in a situation like that and you are so down on yourself in your own head with the thoughts, then somebody in your external experience is just reinforcing the stuff that's going on inside your head. That can be crippling.
Yeah, and
what to listen to, who to listen to, where to turn to.
And I had also had chronic fatigue for a few years in amongst all of this stuff, and then it pretty much came back when I was with him, and I just slept all the time. Like, my body just shut down. It couldn't bear it. But it's like how it probably always is with those relationships. It looked like a Hollywood relationship. Like, when it was good, it was like exceptionally good, and everyone's like, you're so cute, you have the dream relationship or whatever, and then behind closed doors it was just
not that.
It was terrifying. I was so scared of him too. Like, when he would get really angry, I never knew if he was going to physically hurt me. And he was just venom. It just, but I booked to my sister's wedding. We're also at a summer camp together. So we live in a cabin, we work together. I'm too scared to tell anyone there what's happening. I think a few people had a few suspicions because I just slept all the time, and they were like, I don't know what happens down in that cabin, but I just have a bad feeling about it.
Tune in next week to see what Soph did to help herself in this difficult situation. If you enjoy this podcast, remember to like and subscribe and share it with someone that you think would benefit from this. Follow us on Spotify and all the podcasting apps that you may listen to your favorite podcasts through. The more we share these podcasts, the further the messages of the stories of awakening are spread. It's happening all over the world now. People are awakening, and it's an exciting time to be alive. The content found within these podcasts are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Nothing on this website is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any physical or medical conditions. If you have any physical or medical conditions, you should seek the advice of your medical professional immediately. These podcasts have a meditative effect, so please never drive a vehicle while listening to Guided Meditation Podcast.